was the night before Christmas in 1991, and volunteer EMTs were spreading holiday cheer at a local hospital in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
What your name be? Brandon, who do you think I might be, buddy?
Santa Claus?
Across town, 24-year-old Sabrina Parker's second child was due any day. That night, around 6 p.m., she was waiting at her mother's house for her boyfriend, Calvin Young, to return with their 4-year-old daughter, Candace.
All right, we'll bring you in the back. All right.
Yeah, I had just brought Candace home. Man, Sabrina was laying there in the bed like she might have been in pain, so I asked, was she all right? Hurt real bad? I said, well, would you like for me to take you to the hospital?
You sure?
Mommy, is you gonna have my baby born now?
I think so, Pooh.
It's hurting real bad? She couldn't hardly stand up.
How long has it been hurt?
She took maybe 1 or 2 steps towards the hallway, and she said, I don't think I'm gonna make it. I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Emergency service?
Need an ambulance right away.
What's wrong there, sir?
Girlfriend's having a baby.
Okay, and your name?
Calvin Young.
Young? See, how far are the pains apart?
How far are the pains apart?
Ain't no pain, don't feel like it's coming out, she said.
I feel like it's coming out.
Okay, we'll be on the way.
Wait till now.
Okay.
We'll be on the way. Station 7 responded 30.
The Forsyth Rescue Squad was immediately dispatched to the scene, including volunteer EMT Gordon Miller.
My first thought was how ridiculous this is going to look when I run into this house and we find some woman ready to give birth. You know, what will she think when she sees Santa Claus come barging through her door?
Are they on the way?
Yeah, they should be on the way. We call them back again?
Yeah, call them back.
Once Sabrina laid down on the floor and said, Mama, I can't hold it anymore, I knew this was it.
Let me see.
So I took it upon myself to find out how much longer would these people be.
Calvin's second 911 call came into dispatcher Fran Ho.
Yeah, estimate on how much time it'd be for them to get it there.
They're on the way. What's going on right now?
She's in real bad pain, and she's in labor right now at this time.
Okay.
I was just trying to get an estimated time of arrival.
Should be just What did that person just say?
The baby's about to come out.
Okay.
You really have to be careful to interpret what they're saying about what's going on. Listen to what's going on in the background. You have to listen to the tone of their voice. I'm trying to decide if this baby really is about to be delivered right this minute, like they say.
Sabrina's mother, Audrey, took over the call.
And the sack ain't even broke yet, but she say it's going to come out. Okay, we're telling her not to do it now. Okay, we need them right away. Okay, they're on the way, but I want you to look and see if you see any of it coming out. See it? Okay. No. Okay, wait just a minute. We'll just hang on here until the rescue squad gets there, okay?
When we continue.
Dispatch called back to us and asked us what our estimated time of arrival was. Usually that means that
EMT Ron Dale was also a volunteer.
the dispatch called back to us and asked us what our ETA was. Usually that means that something serious is going on at the scene. I felt this overwhelming sense of urgency, like I couldn't get there fast enough.
You're just getting ready. What do you think? Lord. Yeah, it's coming out. Okay, listen to me. Wait a minute, baby, huh? Listen to me. Okay. All right. Okay, it's coming out. All right, it'll probably go back in, did it? Yeah. Okay, now listen. Okay. What's going to happen is that she's going to do that several times and then the head will pop out. Hopefully the rest will be there before them.
My biggest concern was in helping the lady to be able to handle the delivery if the baby delivered before the rescue squad of the ambulance got there. All I could do was just make her ready to take care of it. If that happened, there's nothing we could do to stop the delivery. The baby's going to be born.
Okay, did the head come out? It's right there. Tell her to go ahead and try to push a little bit. Push, babe, push. Yeah. Did the head come out, huh? Yeah. Is the head out or not? No. It won't come out. Okay, that's okay. It's okay, baby. It may come out the next time. Huh? It may come out the next time. Okay.
Contractions were getting worse and worse, and she was pushing more. I knew I had to be there for her, but I didn't want to have to do it myself.
You're doing good. Come on. Wait a minute. No. Lord, I wish they'd come
I runs out the door, like, looking up the street, trying to see if I hear sirens or see the paramedics, see any kind of red lights. 30 seconds was, to me, was 2 minutes, and 2 minutes to me was 5 minutes, because my nerves was wrecked by this time.
Careful, you need to take the OB kit in. Public service deliveries in progress at this time.
Went back in? Yeah. It looks slick, though. The sack ain't broke. Okay, listen to me real careful. All right. Get the man that's with you to get a pair of scissors. Okay. Now. Come in.
After another contraction, when she saw more of the baby, she said it looked slick and shiny. The sack's not broken.
If that head comes out and the sack is still over the face, you're going to have to cut it. Not the baby, but the sack. Oh, Lord. Now, just make a little slit in it and tear it away from the baby's face. I understand what you're saying. Okay, you know what the sack looks like? Yeah.
That's the point that terrified me, having to bust the sack myself.
Don't cut the baby.
It was terrifying, but I knew I would do it.
There was a gentleman standing in the middle of the street, jumping up and down, waving his arms. So I motioned to Ron that there it was.
Come in, please.
Got the jump bag, Ron?
I'm running back around the truck with the driver, and I noticed Santa Claus, and I look, and then I didn't pay no more attention. I'm thinking about Sabrina, I'm like, I asked about that lady, So,
Okay, you okay? Let me get here now, baby. Okay, hang the phone up.
It was so apparent that this child's time is now. Just ripped off the beard and glasses and wig. That's all we had time for.
Okay. Let me know what you need. What's your name?
Sabrina.
Sabrina? I'd never been on an obstetrical call where the amniotic sac was keeping the baby from being delivered. I knew that the ambulance was very close behind us, and so I decided to let them get in and assess the situation, and for us to make kind of a group decision is what we were going to do.
Santa Claus ain't joking.
No, he ain't.
Yeah, I
thought she was just joking, because it was Christmas Eve and all. I went to look, and there it was.
It's going good, Mom. It's going great.
Moments later, paramedic Tim Holman and his partner arrived.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
I got there and immediately saw that the bag of water is not broken. It was bulging. It was preventing the baby from being delivered. Ron was in the position, and I said, well, all you got to do is break it. And Ron said, well, I'm not sure how to do that. This is my first delivery. And I'm like, uh-oh. I said, well, I'll break it, and then, we'll just go on and let you deliver.
Every time I would go out the door, I would hear several voices. Santa Claus, what you doing? Santa Claus, come over here. And I felt a little bad that I couldn't stop, but of course, there were more important things going on at the time.
Here, we're going to take care of you, honey. Go ahead and push if you have to. All right, there we go. There's the head.
I actually saw the baby actually being pushed out. The shoulders and stuff was coming out. And I'm looking at the expression on Sabrina's face and actually seeing this child being brought into this life. And I'm like, gosh, man, women go through some stuff, man, because I'm like thinking, man, God, man, they got to go through all this. Ooh.
Ah, very good. All right. All right, you got a little boy.
At that point, I thought that the hard work was over, but I realized that the baby was not breathing yet. Attempt to suction the secretions out of the baby's nose and mouth.
Come on, baby.
And I slapped it on the rear end a few times, and that didn't work. I grabbed his foot and thumped him on the bottom of the foot several times, and that wasn't working either. I was concerned that what might have been a happy situation was going to turn tragic within just a few seconds. I kept on trying that much harder to get him to breathe. And I thumped him 3 or 4 more times maybe, and that's when he let out a small cry.
All right, that's it, baby. Okay, you hear that? Okay. He's moving now. He's moving.
He's got 10 fingers and 10 toes.
When the birth was complete and I was looking at the baby and looking at Ron and the obvious elation on his face, It reminded me of his comment, wouldn't it be nice if we had the opportunity to deliver a baby on Christmas Eve, and how appropriate this all was, that his wish had come true.
Sabrina, you just made my Christmas.
And it's just an incredible experience. What a great feeling. I'll remember that the rest of my life.
Hey guys, here's a blanket. Sure. Let's get Mom warm here.
And they put me on the stretcher. And I looked up and I saw Santa Claus with his suit on and stuff.
That comfortable there?
And I was like, okay, Santa Claus. Yeah, that was a trip.
As we're driving down the road, I looked up out the rear window, and I could see Santa Claus driving this rescue truck behind the ambulance. I remember thinking to myself, this seems really strange, almost too good to be true. It was like something you would read in a book or see in the movies, not something that would happen to me.
Christmas means different things to different people. For Sabrina and her family, it will forever be remembered as a time when baby Jeremy came into their world.
I'm not going to plan on his future. I'm going to let him sort of figure that out for himself. I just want him to do the right things. Same thing go for Candy.
You want a fish aquarium?
I'm going to encourage them in whatever they want to do.
He knows.
Iguana.
Try to help them as much as I can.
There we go. Now we can see the beach stuff.
Hi, Birdie.
I think Candy's under the impression now that Santa Claus don't only bring toys every year now, he brings babies too, I had to explain to her, that Santa Claus not bringing you a brother next year, okay,
As the years go by, EMT Ron Dale will always cherish the memories of one Christmas past.
I got something for the little fella.
He woke up for you.
He didn't sleep up until now.
He woke up for you.
I looked at him and kept thinking, how about that? That's the kid that I delivered on Christmas Eve.
First one, man.
That's right. It's my first.
When you have to bring a life, help it come into the world, it's a bonding, just like a parent having a kid.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah. And I think Ron felt that too,
Hey there. He's like, I recognize you.
That's right. You know me, don't you? Yeah, you know me. I had done my job right, and this was the end result. Under the circumstances, it would be hard not to believe in Santa Claus after seeing something like this.